1 year after Clara and her sons helped a man reclaim his life, James, the husband who vanished like a shadow 27 years ago, stood once again in her home. He knelt before her, his voice trembling. "Thank you, Mother of Kings. Thank you for changing my life." Clara looked at him, not with anger or pain, but with profound peace. She gently placed a hand on his shoulder. "I didn't do anything for you," she whispered. "God did it all. All glory belongs to Him. Life isn't about what we crave or strive for. It's about mercy, when someone chooses to lift you up even when you're broken." That night, as she lay in bed, Clara closed her eyes and let memories flood in. Not the pain of abandonment, but the love they once shared. The laughter, the dreams, the moments that once made her believe in him before he disappeared. For the first time in years, she found serenity.
That night, Clara slipped into a dream unlike any before. It was like a movie reel of her life with James. But this time, pain didn't lead the story. She saw them young again, in love, brimming with hope. She dreamed of their first meeting, when James's smile made her forget the world. She saw his sacrifices, selling his possessions so she could finish her education, skipping meals so she could eat, working late to keep her dreams alive. She dreamed of the greatest gift he gave her, his kidney. 35 years ago, when illness nearly took her life, James begged doctors to take anything from him to save her. She saw him sell his father's land, not for himself, but to cover her hospital bills, quietly, without telling her until months later. She dreamed of their wedding, the joy, the tears, the promises under a starlit sky. Then their honeymoon, two souls entwined, believing they could weather any storm. Each memory unfolded, vivid, real, and beautiful. Her heart felt ready to remember not just the pain, but the love that once existed.
For the first time in years, Clara overslept until 10 a.m. The household staff grew frantic. They knocked on her door, called her name, but got no response. In a panic, they contacted Clara's two eldest sons, Michael and Daniel, who were in different cities. Hearing the news, Michael immediately instructed the gatekeeper and driver to break into her room to check on her. He also ordered his own driver to take him to the nearest airport to fly to his mother's side. Meanwhile, at Clara's house, just as the gatekeeper prepared to force the door open, Clara awoke with a start. She glanced at the clock. 11:50 a.m. "My God, what happened?" she gasped. Picking up her phone, she was stunned to see over 50 missed calls and messages from her 5 sons and daughters-in-law. Tears welled up as she clutched the phone. Michael called again, his voice shaking with relief when she answered. "Mom, you scared me to death," he said. "I thought we lost you." Clara explained she'd simply slept deeply, unaware of how late it was. Daniel, who was at an airport trying to book a flight to her, also sighed in relief hearing her voice. After reassuring everyone, Clara sat alone, her heart still stirred by the vivid dream.
Feeling the dream carried deep meaning, Clara whispered to herself, this wasn't just an ordinary dream. She decided to visit her pastor. At his home, she recounted the dream in detail, the emotions it stirred, and how she'd slept until nearly noon. The pastor listened intently, then prayed for her, his words heartfelt and inspired. Afterward, he looked at her with a serious gaze. "Clara," he said, "you need to call James and all 5 of your sons here. God wants to reveal something important, something that involves everyone." Clara's heart raced. Back home, she immediately contacted her sons. Michael and Daniel, being nearby, agreed to come right away. Liam, Lucas, and Noah, living abroad, pleaded to join via video call so they wouldn't miss what God was about to reveal. A date was set, and everyone sensed something momentous was coming.
The next morning, Clara called James and shared about her meeting with the pastor. Before he left, she gently asked a question that had lingered in her heart for years. "James, After we parted, why didn't you remarry? James paused, sighing heavily. I did marry, he said softly. 5 years after leaving you. That woman had 2 children, and for 10 years, I believed they were mine. His voice broke. Then one got sick, needed a blood transfusion. When I went to donate, the doctor said my blood type didn't match. He bowed his head. I got a DNA test. It showed I wasn't their father. Silence hung between them. I planned to confront her, he continued. But then I fell gravely ill, nearly died. When I recovered, I'd lost everything. No job, no degree, nothing. He looked at Clara, eyes misty. But today I thank God for bringing me back to you. Because of His mercy and because of you, the woman I left, you gave me hope. Clara smiled gently. It's okay, James. I'm just glad you're alive. All glory belongs to God.
3 days later, Michael and Daniel arrived as promised. Clara, her 2 sons, and James drove together to the pastor's house. Liam, Lucas, and Noah joined via Zoom from abroad, the air thick with anticipation. The pastor looked at Clara and James with reverence. Clara, James, nothing that's happened between you was by chance, he said. It was all part of God's plan. His voice was gentle but profound. Your purpose in life wasn't to have biological children. Clara, your calling was to raise those 5 boys, shaping them into the men they are today. He paused, then revealed something that stunned them both. The reason God separated you for 27 years, he said, was because of something James said the night before he left. Clara listened, silent. You once suggested adopting, the pastor explained. After 7 years without children, you wanted to adopt a boy and a girl. But James strongly opposed it, saying, I'll never raise someone else's kids. I want my own blood. The room fell silent. That statement, the pastor continued, is why God had to separate James from you, Clara, because if you'd stayed together, you would have honored his wishes, and those 5 boys would have been forgotten forever.
Tears streamed down Clara's face. James bowed his head, choking back sobs. All the pain, loneliness, and separation, it wasn't random. It was preparation for a greater destiny, for kings to rise. When God saw James standing in the way of your purpose, the pastor said, He separated him, not to punish, but to protect your destiny. He looked at them with compassion. God honored James's choice, letting him follow the path he wanted. But he also prepared you, Clara, giving you the space, strength, and opportunity to raise those 5 boys. He paused, then continued. Now, God has brought you back together because His purpose is fulfilled. Those 5 abandoned boys are now successful men thanks to you, Clara. He opened his Bible and read Isaiah 55, 8-9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Clara and James sat quietly, not with blame or shame, but with understanding and grace.
James didn't understand his purpose. If he had, he wouldn't have said the words that led to 27 years of suffering. He looked at James. Words have power. A thoughtless word can destroy a life. We must be careful with what we say about the future, because words shape the world. He turned to Clara. Clara, your kindness will never be forgotten. You raised 5 abandoned boys, fed the hungry, forgave those who hurt you. You didn't do it for fame, but for love. And God has honored you, not just with blessings, but with influence, admiration, and a purpose beyond imagination. Clara's story teaches us that mercy is stronger than judgment. Her forgiveness didn't just heal James, it transformed a generation. Legacy isn't about bloodlines, it's about impact. Clara didn't give birth to kings, she raised them. She didn't just feed the hungry, she changed lives. Her legacy is in the meals she served, the tears she wiped away, and the hearts she healed. If this story touches you, give it a like. Share your favorite moment. Send this to someone who needs hope. And subscribe for more inspiring stories. The strongest people aren't those born into glory, but those who rise above pain and choose to love.